good morning. I hope you guys are well. So I don't know why, but obviously I know it's God, but this morning I just felt like talking to you guys about really going from being, I wouldn't say going from being an introvert to an extrovert. I would more so say like finding the balance while being on this journey, especially being someone that has gifts, being someone that's extremely sensitive in spirit, as in you can feel, hear everything, see everything. How do you interact with people outside of you, outside of your home, outside of you? And especially being someone that goes through warfare, and not many people understand about that. And I just want to say, like, I can't say too much on everyone's situation because I can't speak for everybody, you know? Everyone's situation is different. Everyone's tolerance level is different. Everyone's sensitivity level is different. But I can honestly say that I went from being someone who, you know, similar to like PTSD, you know, someone who just, I had so much anxiety because I was so sensitive with my gifts, to the point where the anxiety and being overly sensitive kept me indoors a lot, to where I didn't really want to interact with people. And I didn't really start interacting with people really until I started my YouTube channel, which was in 2017. But even then, I still had to interact with people outside, but it wasn't a lot of interaction. It was every job that I had, I noticed that I wasn't able to stay there that long because it was really difficult for me. I always had anxiety, especially because I was going through a lot of warfare. With my gift to hear, it's like I can hear everything. It's like I can be in a noisy mall, right? And I can literally be hearing conversation after I can hear everyone's conversation. It's like I can tune out each voice, each conversation. It's just, I can't explain it. It's one of those, when you have the gift to distinguish between spirits, that's one of the gifts you'll have, is being able to separate each person's voice in the physical. So you can be in like a grocery store and you can hear someone down the aisle talking, but you can hear someone at the cash register talking, but you can also hear someone by the meat area talking. And it's almost like you're hearing everyone talk, but you're able to like separate each person's voice. Like you're able to like tune into each voice. You know, it's very hard to explain. And that's what makes the anxiety skyrocket. That would make the anxiety skyrocket, especially because you're also being attacked. So when I would experience things like that, it's like I would feel so overwhelmed. Sometimes I would end up like going into the grocery store. I would pick up a bunch of stuff that I need, and it was hard for me to even pick out the stuff that I need because my anxiety was off the chain. I would feel the warfare. I started trembling. So I would literally say, okay, I wanted to make this, but I don't want to get all the ingredients because I feel like I'm being watched. So I'm gonna just, let's just say I'm making pasta, and I'm like, okay, I gotta get the, you know, what I need, the Beyond Meat or the, you know, the vegan meat, and I gotta get tomatoes. I gotta get all the ingredients. So let's just say there's like 7 ingredients I need. I would literally, what's that word? Settle and say, let me just get pasta sauce. Pasta sauce, that's my spaghetti, because I just so badly wanted to get out the grocery store because it was too overwhelming for me to be there. And then it's to the point where I would literally go to the cash register and drop off the pasta and the sauce onto the thing, and I would oftentimes be such a rush to leave, I want to run out the store. I would either run out the store and say, forget, I'm ordering, or I would literally be in a rush to leave and tell the register like, hey, can we hurry up please, because it was too overwhelming for me. It was really bad, to the point where I couldn't keep a job. Interacting with people was hard. I remember my first day of bartending and serving. This was at like a really high-end place in Toronto. My first time serving, I had a tray with a bunch of champagne glasses on it. This was someone's like grand opening, and I got hit with warfare. Like someone did magic on me. So at that moment, I felt the magic like hit me. It didn't fully hit me, but I felt the effects of it. And now I'm used to the effects of it, so I can like talk to you guys. I can function. I can run. I can do whatever I want. People would not know I was going through warfare, right? But back then, because I didn't know what was going on with me, you feel every single thing, and it's not normal to feel like that, because you know how it feels to feel normal. So when you feel like a warfare hitting you, like a spell, like a attempt, the symptoms of a spell, while you have these gifts that God is like starting to turn up the volume on, right? Like the hearing and the visions and all of that, and no one else knows but you, and you're trying to look normal. You don't want to look like you're crazy. Man, I was holding that tray with the champagne glasses, and I felt the attempts, and I started trembling like this. Oh my God. And I remember this champagne tray fell. And there was a woman in the back playing the harp, and because it's a very elegant event, and she looks at me like, oh. And then another woman's like, oh my gosh, she dropped it. I was hearing every single person's reaction, just me looking at it and trying to pick it up. I was hearing every single person's reaction individually. It's like when you watch those movies and everything is moving around in the movie, like everything's moving around fast, as in like everyone's moving around, there's a lot going on in the movie. But when you're watching a movie and it's like focusing on someone's ability to hear or sense something, let's just say you watch a superhero movie, and they like start tuning into each person's voice and start like, I can't explain it. But you know when you watch those superhero movies and they show you the kind of powers the superpower that superhuman has, and they start like, I don't know, it's so hard to explain. Anyways, but the champagne glass fell, and I was like, oh, she dropped it. And I was so embarrassed. I was kept shaking still. So I took a bathroom break, and I was like, I don't know if I could do this. But I didn't last. Anyways, I didn't last at that job. Same thing with bartending. I didn't last there. Victoria's Secret, I didn't last anywhere. I'm like, God, the safest thing for me to do right now while I'm in school, because this was around the time I started school, I'm like, the safest thing for me to do is YouTube, because I can do it from the comfort of my home. Yeah, thousands of people will see it, but I could do it from the comfort of my home. There's no one watching me record the video. It's nerve-wracking, but what I can also do is I can deactivate the comment section so I can't see anyone's comments. And that's what I did at first. I deactivated the comment section. But the point of me saying this is, like, in the beginning, you're gonna be like, when you're realizing your gifts, or when you're starting to notice God is turning up your gifts, it is going to be hard for you to interact with people outside of your gifts or outside of you, because you're going to sense everything. You're going to feel everything. You're going to even feel people's emotions. Like, you're going to just be too sensitive. But after a while, I started to get used to it. And I had to force myself to go into crowded places to conquer this. I had to force myself to go into a mall. I had to force myself to stay in the grocery store and finish shopping. I had to force myself to get on the public transit when I didn't have a car, regardless of how I felt. I had to force myself to show up to appointments and stop canceling, stop rescheduling, because I'm too sensitive and I'm afraid to go out there. I had to force myself to conquer this, because let me tell you something. If you are being attacked with warfare, if people are doing witchcraft to you, that is one of their missions. One of their missions is trying to get you to not be able to have a normal life. And yeah, we're not gonna have a normal life as being children of God, because we're not necessarily that normal. But you can still go outside and enjoy your life and do a lot of the things other people do, like go to the park, go shopping, go running, go to the gym, go on vacation. Like, you can still do certain things. That doesn't make you feel too isolated. There's a healthy isolation, which is when God isolates you to get closer to him. But there's a toxic isolation. There's a normal isolation, which is what God does when he tries to get you to build your relationship with him. He gets you to pay attention to him, and he gives you revelations, and usually that's healthy isolation. He pulls you away from toxic people. But then there's also toxic isolation, which is what the devil wants. He wants you so isolated that you don't even know how to interact with a stranger. You don't even know how to communicate with people outside your gifts. You can't land a job, or you can't even stay in a certain environment because of the anxiety and how sensitive you are. That there's a difference, and you have to know the difference. See, God will pull you away and show you who you are through him, okay, and show you your purpose, your mission. But then he will start strengthening you, and yes, it's going to feel uncomfortable being outside your home, interacting with people and doing regular things, but you have to put yourself in positions like that in order for you to get used to it again. And then you start to adapt. You start to adapt to your environment, things around you. You start to adapt, and then you know now how to properly use your gifts, and your gifts not use you. Do you get what I'm saying? As in, like, let's say I have a vision, and God is using me, and God is showing me a vision. I'm able to receive the vision, accept the vision, without making it obvious to everyone around me. I'm having a vision. Oh my gosh, now I have anxiety. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you learn how to adapt while being that person you are through Christ, right? And let me tell you why it's so important to break free from the toxic isolation, because that's what the devil wants. If you are consistently isolated from people and from just everyday life because it gives you anxiety, or you're picking up on people's emotions and it's too much for you because you're too sensitive in spirit, you can rob yourself as well from fulfilling God's purpose for you. Because let me tell you something, if God calls you and you're chosen, he's not going to want you just being in your home, sitting at home all day. You know what I'm saying? Just doing nothing. He wants you to be outside, interacting with people, fulfilling his will. Because trust me, if you are chosen, you have a title. Whether you are an apostle, whether you are a prophet, whether you are a pastor, you have an assignment, you have a title, and you have an assignment. And if you have an assignment, you can't fulfill your assignment just by sitting at home all day because of anxiety and stress and your gifts being too much for you. Eventually, you're going to have to learn how to adapt. You're going to have to learn how to get used to it while interacting with everybody else. Because that's what happened to me. I'm telling you, it was not easy for me. It was not easy for me. And there was times where I would get so attacked, I would run out of rooms. I would run out of places, run out of rooms, run out of stores, and go home. But I never gave up. I had to keep putting myself out there. I learned, okay, if I go to places that are extremely noisy and I know my gift to hear in the spirit is turned up from a 5 to an 8 right now, and I can hear every single conversation in this gym, put on some headphones and put on some music. And I'm not going to focus on who's watching me, who's staring at me, even though I can see people looking at me without me looking at them. I can literally not be looking at someone and I can literally see them looking at me. I can sense it in spirit, and if I turn around and look at them, they're already looking at me, confirm what I saw, or my eyes could be looking straight and I can still see everything around me. You know what I'm saying? So I would have to find ways to block out the fact that I'm aware of all this. You know, not block it out as in ignore my gift, but block it out as in not paying too much attention to it. Right? I see everyone looking at me. I see people staring. I can hear conversations. Put on some music. Look straight to the treadmill and go to the treadmill. Put on music. Look straight to the grocery, the produce section in the grocery store, and go in and get what it is I need. Go in and get what it is I need. If warfare is too heavy, right, and I know I have to go outside, sometimes I may just Instacart it. I'm not gonna lie. I may just Instacart it if it's too heavy. Warfare is too heavy. But you just have to not let the devil win. You can't let, because you're very gifted and sensitive and you can feel everything, hear everything, you can't let that stop you from doing what God needs you to do outside of your home. Because I'm telling you, if you have a purpose, you're gonna have to be out there doing stuff. You're gonna have to interact with people. Remember, God uses, God can bless us, but God will bless us, but God uses people to open doors for other people. Everything that God gives to us is gonna come through someone else. You see what I'm saying? Anything he gives us physically is going to come through someone else. If we go to the grocery store to shop, we receive the grocery store from whoever brought it to the grocery store. If we go to the mall, we buy something, we received it from the cash register, cashier, or we received it from the store, whatever, whoever produced it. We're always receiving something from someone else. Therefore, if God has a mission, a calling for you, you don't want to just be here just for the sake of being here, knowing you have these gifts, knowing you are called and chosen, but you let the devil get to you to where now you can't even go out there and do what God needs you to do because it's becoming overwhelming. You gotta slowly introduce yourself to things, slowly learn how to adapt. Because I'm going to tell you something, that's the whole point. The devil does not want you to be comfortable enough to hop on a plane, go to another country while being under warfare, or go in a grocery store while being under warfare. You know, go minister, go preach while being under warfare. You get what I'm saying? He doesn't want you to be comfortable with doing this stuff while you're fighting warfare. He wants you to let the warfare get to you so much to the point where you miss out on all these opportunities. Because if you're not out there, people cannot find you. They cannot connect to you. They cannot open doors with you, which won't lead you to the next level. You see what I'm saying? You can be on social media all you want, preaching and you know, helping people. But when there's going to eventually be someone out there that God is going to use to connect with you, that's going to want to meet you, that's going to want to take you to the next level. You get what I'm saying? And if you say, oh my gosh, I have warfare today, I'm so sensitive, or I'm so scared, I can't go out, my gifts are too much, you can rob yourself of that opportunity. So the point of me saying this is, yes, we all go through that. I've been there. But how did I get comfortable enough to do what I'm doing now, being outside, still interacting with people while going through warfare? I learned how to adapt. I allowed myself to be uncomfortable when I didn't want to, when I wanted to be home, when I wanted to run away, and I fought through it to where now I got so used to it, I can literally be under attack and I can still be smiling, having a full conversation with someone and laughing in a retail store. Do you see what I'm saying? They would never know. I can be under attack and still go into a job interview and be good. So it's just about not letting it rob you of your opportunities, because that's what the devil wants. Remember I told you, there's healthy isolation and there's toxic isolation. And And you have to just know that how you'll know it's the devil is because every single time you want to do something that's going to better your life. Hi guys, just recording where I left off. So I just want to say how you know the difference between the devil, when you know it's the devil. Healthy isolation. I told you guys about what healthy isolation is, aka separation with God. But how you'll know it's the devil trying to make you miss opportunities is because every time you're trying to do something to benefit yourself, whether it's your health, whether it's your mental, anything in the physical, whether, let's just say you're going to a job interview, you need a job because you got to make money to live. So it's like you need a job, and you know, you have an interview, the devil will make sure that the attack hits you right before your interview. You'll all of a sudden get a headache out of nowhere. Let's just say you want to go and get your body in shape, because your body being in shape is what's going to help your health overall. It's what's going to help you fight the warfare. Right before you go to the gym, you start feeling extremely sick, or something will happen to where you don't have the strength and the energy to go to the gym anymore. The desire is completely gone. Or when you go to a grocery store now, like I mentioned earlier, all of a sudden now everyone in the grocery store is being rude to you, making you feel uncomfortable to the point where you want to just leave. Any type of thing that you want to do in your life to better yourself, to help yourself improve in any sort of way, the devil is going to make it uncomfortable for you and not easy for you, right? And the more you run from it, the more it's like you're giving the enemy what he wants. You can't be a runner your whole life. I was a runner my whole life. Anything that made me feel uncomfortable, any confrontation, anything that just made me feel not good, I ran from it. I was a runner my whole life. And when I went through a lot of the warfares and I didn't understand what was going on, I didn't make no sense of it. I didn't know what it was. And plus on top of that, the gifts were overwhelming. Plus on top of that, it's like, anxiety. I would run and go back into my turtle shell. And like I said, every time you run, you give the devil satisfaction. Because if you end up being a runner your whole life, you're going to run away from opportunities. Because every opportunity that God gives you is going to come with some sort of discomfort, because the devil is going to automatically attack anything that God does for your life. If it was that easy, majority of the world would be successful. But you do have a leverage over many people. And what is your leverage? You are a child of God. You are chosen. You can see, hear, whatever gifts you have. You have something that a lot of people don't have or don't have access to, right? And that gives you a leverage over a lot of people, because if you need something, you can just pray and God can show you. You may not get the answer right away, but you can pray about it and God will eventually answer you. God can even show you your footsteps. But if you go towards where God needs you to be, and then you feel a sense of discomfort because of the warfare, a sense of discomfort because, the anxiety came out of nowhere, you have to understand that that is the devil trying to get you to run. Have you guys ever been put in a position to where someone invites you somewhere, or you want to go somewhere, and let's just say you've been locked in the house for a week or something, you haven't been anywhere, and you've been like in your little shell, and someone invites you somewhere and you're like, I don't know if I want to go, I don't want to go anywhere, because all the anxiety is starting to come up now because you got invited somewhere. Now all of a sudden warfare is 10 times worse because you got invited somewhere where you can network and meet people, and you're like, I don't want to go, and you decide to end up going. However way you decided, whether you pushed yourself to go or whether God nudged you and said, you better get up and go. That's happened to me many times where I don't want to go somewhere and God would nudge me and say, you better go. And have you gone to this place or gone to wherever you're invited to and had such a good time, met good people, and realized, wow, had I not been at this event, I would not have met this person or met that person. I would not have this connection for business. I would not have this. When God is calling you, it means he has a purpose for you, right? And God is going to have a lot of people connected to that purpose for your life. Because God will use people to connect you to other people, to connect you to other people. He will use one person to lead you through one door, to lead you to another door, to lead you to another door. Opportunities. That's what's opportunities, right? And always running, and you choosing to always run because you feel uncomfortable, or because it's becoming too intense. If you feed into that and you let the devil get his way and you run away, you're training yourself to always run now when you're uncomfortable. The more you train yourself, the more it's going to be harder to break out of it. And you can possibly run away from meeting your wife, your husband, meeting that, what do you call them, God? Destiny helper. Running away from your destiny helper. The devil does not control God. God is smarter than the devil. But the devil does put traps before we get to our destination. So for instance, you may be, let's just say that you have a job interview somewhere, or there's an event that you want to go to, and let's just say that your husband's there or your wife's there, but right before God told you to go to this event, but right before this event you got a headache. Right before this event you felt sick. You pushed yourself to still get up and get ready. You put on your shoes, the heel broke. You put on your shoes and all of a sudden you drop the fear mail. You may have dropped something on your shoes. Now you got to stay back and clean it for a bit. You finally got your shoes together, you got a new pair of shoes from the house. You found a new set of shoes or whatever. You get in the car, you drive there, right? And all of a sudden you have a flat tire. All of a sudden you have a flat tire. And you're like, man, I just want to go home. It's bringing up so much anxiety, you know? And you decide to call the tow company to come get your car. And you're like, man, I could just go home. My mood is ruined. Everyone's looking at me. I feel uncomfortable now, etc., etc. But let's just say God nudges you and says, just take an Uber. And you took an Uber to the event. And guess what? That event, guess who you met? Your husband, your wife. Do you see all the traps the devil sets before you get there? To discourage you, to make you feel uncomfortable so you don't continue on that path to get there. Now, God can definitely cause certain things to happen to protect you. But like I said, with this example, I specifically said, God told you to go. But you're like feeling upset because you're like, God, why did you tell me to go if all this stuff is happening? Keyword, God told you to go. So you already know God wanted you to be there. So that means that you have to fight through every obstacle to get there. You get what I'm saying? But had you not gone, you would not have met your wife, your husband. But that's why the devil went so hard to stop you, because he knew that was going to be the outcome. So it's the same concept with everything else in your life. Don't let, because your gifts become so overwhelming and you can feel demons, see demons in people, you can hear a lot in the spirit, and on top of that, you're being attacked from witches and warlocks. Don't let that stop you from doing the basic necessity of things in life. If you know God chose you, and God says you have a purpose here. When you have a purpose, it means God is taking you to a whole nother level. So before you even get to that level, you got to be trained enough, strong enough, and you got to adapt to doing the basic necessities of life. Going to the store, going to the gym, going for a walk, talking to people in the grocery store, going to the mall because you got to buy new clothes. Do not let what you're going through cause you to run away from just the basic necessities of life. Because if you allow the devil to push you away from that, you're not going to be equipped enough to handle where God needs to take you. Because where God needs to take you, there may be crowds of people. Where God needs to take you, there may be higher authority people and higher authority positions, right? Where God is going to take you, there may be a lot more heavier demons in people. You see what I'm saying? New levels, new devils, right? So you have to know your limits as well and know your boundaries, but you cannot resist adapting to doing the basic things, despite how much people watch you, how much people look at you, how much people make you feel uncomfortable. You can't let, because a group of people are watching you now, you decide not to eat. You decide not to work out. You decide not to go for a walk. You decide not to go buy your clothes. You see what I'm saying? Because now even though you're gifted, it's almost like you're allowing people to control your emotions now and control your life. And that's what the devil wants. That's why they attack us so much with the warfare. Because the more anxiety they can give us, the more attacks they can give us, the more we're going to be wanting to hide away and stay away from everybody, to the point where we're not even doing what God needs us to do now. Right? That's a tactic they use. Once you start training yourself to getting used to using your gifts while just doing the basics and not running from it, you become stronger. It won't bother you no more if you're, let's just say if you're at a gas station pumping gas and the person across from you is mumbling bad things under their breath towards you because they have a demonic spirit. It won't even bother you to say, oh man, I gotta go home now because I don't want to be at the gas station. Now you changed your whole plans because of that. No, continue with your day. I rebuke in the name of Jesus, pumping my gas. I'm about to head over to this next destination where I need to get things done. See ya. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you have to, so it's like, I know it's easier said than done. And trust me, I've been there. Like many of y'all, I've been there. It took me a while to get here. Okay? But this is where boundaries come in. This is where I have my days where I can be a turtle. But I also have my days where I throw on the armor and I head out. I throw on my bulletproof vest and I head out. Actually, it's already on me. I think I have a permanent bulletproof vest. We all do. But you know what I mean? Like, I throw on whatever I have to throw on. Superheroes, they get on their capes or whatever, and then they go out. Like, you just have to have boundaries. But you can't let what the devil is doing cause you to run from every single thing because you feel discomfort. Because you're robbing yourself of the training, and you're robbing yourself of your purpose and your blessings. Because God didn't just bring you here for you to just sit still in one place and just say, I'm chosen, I'm different, and that's it. And I'm just following God, that's it. No, God brought you here to get to war, to get to work. And that means you're going to have to interact with people. You're going to have to meet people. You're going to have to be around people who are not of God as well. You see what I'm saying? Because everywhere you go, you're going to have an encounter with someone who is not of God. Hey, some of you guys went to fast food restaurants today and got food. The person that made your food may be a whole witch and you wouldn't even know. You may have felt weird vibes when you were there, but you probably didn't even know that. You see what I'm saying? You just grabbed your food and left, but you felt bad vibes there, right? Now, I'm not saying eat from a witch. What I'm saying is people do a lot of things behind closed doors, and just because we're gifted, we don't know everything. You see what I'm saying? You're always going to have an encounter with someone who's not on the same walk as you. What matters is how you respond and how you let it affect you. Don't let it cause you to run, or you're going to continue running forever. Okay? Like I said, healthy isolation and toxic isolation, right? We have to know the difference, and we can't let the sensitivity of our gifts and us knowing what we know, and and the attacks and anxiety all in one rob us from getting to where God needs us to be. Okay? I love you guys. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.